impact lives, and you are interested in growing in business and life, and you're open to doing things a bit differently, then you are a DoorGrow hacker. DoorGrow hackers love the opportunities, daily variety, unique challenges, and freedom that property management brings. Many in real estate think you're crazy for doing it. You think they're crazy for not because you realize that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management business owners and their businesses. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. I'm your host, property management growth expert, Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow, along with Sarah Hull, the co-founder and or co-owner and COO of DoorGrow. Now let's get into the show. And our guest today is Michael L. Sullivan. Michael Sullivan is here hanging out with us. He is a client of ours and of Sullivan Property Management. Did I say that right?
ML.
ML Sullivan
Yeah.
Property Management. All right. Your initials. Got it. And Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's
So
good to be here.
we're glad to have you. So we've really enjoyed having you in our program, and it's been really amazing seeing your progress. So maybe to kick things off, let's start with talking about how you got into this crazy industry of property management. Like you woke up when you were like maybe 5 years old and said, property management is the thing for me, maybe.
Yeah, like every little boy and girl dreams about being a real estate agent or a property manager.
It's right there next to veterinarian and firefighter, I think.
That's right. That's right. Or professional baseball player.
There you
So I left the teaching profession in 1993 and became a real estate agent, a general brokerage real estate agent here in the greater Research Triangle region of North Carolina. And I did very well. I, on average, sold anywhere between $5 and $15 million worth of real estate when our average sale price was $150,000. So
Wow.
we were shifting a lot of shacks. And it was a good life. And for the 15 or so years between 1993 and the Great Recession of 2007, 2008, my biggest fear was what is going to happen when the market flips? Because inevitably, real estate flips. It goes from a boom market to a bust market, a buyer's market to a seller market. And so during those years, I socked away cash. When the market crashed in 2008, I had an inventory of 40 general brokerage homes that were for sale. I had clients that were still moving to Massachusetts or Plano, Texas, or Austin or Seattle, to the other tech hubs in the United States. And my clients were like, all right, problem solver, what are you going to do? Because we still have to move. And
Yeah.
I was like, we're going to rent them. And so with an Excel spreadsheet and time, because I had lots of time then, I started managing property. And in the first year, our goal was 30 homes and we had 50. And it was me and one part-time assistant and an Excel spreadsheet. Well, after about 18 months, that didn't work anymore. So I went out and I found what I thought was a reasonable property management software. And then over the course of the next decade or so, we got up to 110 properties or so. And things were good. We were chugging along and profits were good. But I really didn't know what I didn't know. I kind of believed that once you had an Appfolio or a Buildium on board, that you had won the day and that your business was set and, it should be easy. And I soon discovered when I got to 115 doors and just kind of got stuck there, that the business wasn't growing the way it should be, and I couldn't figure out why. So I was on Facebook one day and there was this guy, Jason Hull, talking about this company called DoorGrow. And so I did the click, click, clickety click, and then I started listening to some of his podcasts, and I started researching DoorGrow, and I thought, huh, this guy knows a whole lot about this industry, and maybe this is someone I need to engage with. And so that's how I came to DoorGrow about 2.5 years ago, I think. So
There you go. And now you're on one. You're on one of the podcasts.
I know.
So what challenges did you start to realize you were dealing with at the time? Because generally you've made a ton of changes in your business since working with us, and it's been impressive to watch. What do you feel like were your challenges at that time? Like, what did you not know that you did not know?
So I knew that there were currencies in a business, but I didn't know that there were five of them.
Mm,
And I knew that I was working really hard. So the currency of effort was there.
yeah,
My bank account showed me that the currency of cash was there. Um,
yeah.
the currency of focus was really lacking because I was still doing a lot of general brokerage and still trying to do property management. Um, the focus of energy was lacking because it was draining me, kind of going in these different directions. And
Mm,
then there was a lack of time. I didn't have time to take off. I didn't have time to turn it off because it was me and an assistant property manager at that time. I was still doing all of the day-to-day operations and the round pegs in the round holes work. And that figuring out those currencies and how to better divide them and focus on them was one of the things that I didn't know. And that
mhm.
once I could put a name to it, um, and once I could focus on fixing where there was a deficiency, then I kind of won the battle, I felt. Before you launched all of your different systems to help property managers, I listened to you and I went out and got Lead Simple. I went out and got Property Meld and kind of brought them into the fold. And I recognized that those tools, which you pay dearly for using these outside vendors,
Mhm.
really bring you a wealth of time that didn't exist before. So I was able to capture that currency. And by extension, the currency of effort was able to kind of tamp down because I had systems now in place to deal with the endless maintenance requests that having a practice that goes up over 100% in growth is going to require.
So let's talk about that growth. You had mentioned you'd gotten up to maybe where were you when you started with DoorGrow?
118,
118. Okay. And
118
then
doors,
and where are you at right now?
275.
Nice. And what's what was your I mean, it sounds like you had pretty decent profit margin before. What was that, if you don't mind sharing, and what is it now?
So on a door a per door gross per door basis, when I joined DoorGrow, we were right at about $122 a door per month,
Yeah,
and today we're at $153.82 per door per month.
that's very specific. So you know your numbers, which is
Well, I
good.
try. Yeah, and year over year revenue increases from last year is up 58.7%.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So money's up. So the cash currency is improved. The focus currency. Have you been able to do less in the business and narrow your focus?
Yes. So Saturday is my benchmark. I call it my Zen day. And if
Mm,
Saturday can be a Zen day for me, where I don't feel like I have tasks that I have to accomplish, that I can do the things that I want to do, still working on the business, not in the business, then I feel like the week has been a win. If I feel like there are pressing tasks that I have to work on within the business on Saturday, then I feel like the week has not been a win. So
Yeah.
if Saturday is Zen, if I come into it feeling very kind of centered and relaxed, then I feel like things are in balance the way they should be.
So what percent profit margin are you operating at now?
Um, so coming into this year, 2022, we were at 27% profit margin, but a lot of that was really underpinned by very robust general brokerage sales.
Hmm.
Um, I made a concerted effort this year to pour gasoline on the fire, um, to really grow the business. The goal is to be over 300 doors by the end of the year. So we're 25 away.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna make that, that goal. But our profit margin right now is at 11 and a half, 11 and three quarters percent. So it's down substantially, but that was deliberate.
Got it. And is deliberate because why?
Because we're making an investment in people, we're making an investment in systems, and we're making an investment in things like vehicles and computers and marketing.
Yeah. So I think it's an important thing for business owners to recognize that to go faster, you need to invest the currency of cash if you want to get more of the other currencies and to get the business to the next level. And you can grow faster if you have thinner margins, which can feel a little more dangerous. And if you're investing into the growth of the business and into the future. But you know how to add doors, so this isn't a concern for you.
It isn't. My bookkeeper and my accountant were a little apoplectic until I told them, like, this is where we're going. And what I said to my bookkeeper was, before the Great Depression of 1929, Ford Motor Company was the preeminent motor car company in the world.
Mm.
They had an amazing market share. Then the stock market crashed and the economy tanked, and Ford circled the wagons, folded their tents, and got very
Scaled back.
conservative. They scaled back. General Motors, by extension, said, and they saw it as an opportunity. And they poured gasoline on the fire. And for the next 70 years, General Motors was the dominant
Yeah.
car company in the world. And so I kind of am using that model.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Smart. So, now a lot of people listening to this might think, well, cool, I can get property mailed. I can do something, get something like Lead Simple, or we have a better tool now, which is
Yes.
DoorGrow Flow. I can go and get tools, and maybe I can do it on my own. Because I think this is the challenge. A lot of us business owners, we have a bit of ego. I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, and we think I can do it myself. Maybe if I watch enough YouTube videos, listen to enough podcast episodes, I can figure it all out on my own. I don't need DoorGrow, or I don't need it. So what would you say to people that listening to this are thinking that?
So I would say to them, when I think back to me and one assistant and 115, 110 doors and good profit margins, and a good life, but I was in a really kind of felt very isolated and very alone. I didn't
Mm.
have other friends or colleagues in the property management space that I could talk to. I felt like I was the only person in the world that was doing this. And once I joined DoorGrow and made very valuable, long lasting friends within the organization that I can call on off hours to discuss specific problems related to property management, that burden of feeling on my own and alone disappeared.
Mm,
Being an entrepreneur can be very lonely, and it is
yeah.
really important to have people in the same industry kind of in your village. And that's one of the benefits of joining DoorGrow is that I can call friends in Texas, Idaho, Pennsylvania, California, and say, "Hey, I've got this going on. Uh, what do you think?"
Yeah, and I think, that's a testament to you is that you've been such a contributor that in the mastermind that it's allowed you to connect with all of these people. There are some people that join the program and they still stay somewhat isolated. They're like, I'm going to watch videos, I'm going to learn stuff and do my own thing and they maybe don't get some of those advantages or benefits, but I think that's key. So,
Yeah, I would
yes,
agree.
I mean, Sarah, when she had her property management business, I imagine you experienced some of the same sort of things of
Mm,
thinking this is you're the only one in the world doing this. You're on your own.
yeah, very much, and especially in the area that I was in, I was always different, and I just kind of do things differently, and I think differently, and oftentimes people are like, "She's nuts! Like, why would you do that?" Even my mom, sometimes she's like, "Are you sure you're gonna do that? Like, are you sure? Can like, I'm kind of nervous." Um, but I've just always done things a little differently, and it is really, really lonely. And I think the mindset that I had back when I was in Pennsylvania versus, the mindset I have now, really has a lot to do with who you surround yourself with. And that can I think it can just give you hope, and it can show you like, hey, like I'm not so crazy. Like I've got it. Like I've got it figured out, and I'm like doing the right thing and I'm on the right path. And it feels right, but sometimes it's just, you're like, oh, is this really right? Because it feels good to me, but man, everybody else is doing something so different.
Yeah, and that's another benefit that DoorGrow has given me is I now have the ability to say no. Um, so I am the business development manager. I have someone in charge of maintenance. I have someone in charge of tenant experience. I have someone in charge of ops within the office. They color within their lines, and we are good. My job is to go out and build the business, to work on the business, not work in the business. And until I joined DoorGrow, it didn't matter what came my way, property wise, I was going to take it. Last week, I turned away more properties than we took on because they weren't the right fit. And I have a very nice conversation with prospective clients about qualification and that they're qualifying us to make sure we're a good fit for them. But at the same time, I'm qualifying them, their mindset, their properties, their attitudes toward spending money, their attitudes toward maintaining their properties. And if those things don't align with what we believe here, that housing is a human right, that people have the right to live in nice homes that are maintained and maintained properly, then we're not going to accept the business. We're also not going to accept people that are rude, mean, and abusive because I've learned since kind of letting the stress of being a general brokerage real estate agent slip away that there is plenty of good business out there and that it's more important to have the philosophical fits with the business than it is to take just any property, no matter what the cost.
Yeah, your ability to say no in business gives you a business that you feel you can easily say yes to each day, for sure.
Right. That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to not have to wake up and go, "Man, I really don't wanna do this again today." And
It-
and that's because we're setting boundaries for ourselves, and that boundary in those containers allow us to create a business that we really like to be inside.
right. That's correct. Yeah.
Now, when you came to us at DoorGrow initially, I remember like you really had this mindset that and now you're doing business development, you had mentioned, you really believed you were the operator. It all was on your shoulders to operate the business, do operations, and you were good at it, but you believed that that was your primary gift, I think, to the business and what your contribution needed to be. And I know you had some conversations with Sarah and some shifts in that. So could you touch on that a bit?
Yeah. Well, control freak, and always have been a control freak.
I know one of those.
You know,
Guilty.
own it, own it. Um, and to a certain degree, I observe, I trust and verify, but I don't get
Mm,
involved. Um, my number two said it best the other day. He said, "Yeah, with you, um, I only have to come to you if I know it's a problem that I can't solve."
mm,
Um, so I have kind of empowered the people who work with me to color in their lines, and when they are in trouble, come here and ask, and we'll figure it out.
mm.
I have also given them permission to make mistakes, um, because if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. You're
Yeah.
static. And I let them see that I make mistakes and that I admit when I make a mistake. Above all else, I expect complete honesty here. We make mistakes, we admit our mistakes. If we have to eat it because it's a financial error that we've made, well, then by golly, we're going to eat it,
Mm,
because it was our mistake, and we come by it honestly. Um, the empowerment of becoming a business development manager is I don't have to worry that the books are balanced every week, because I know that there is someone who I've paid good money to who has balanced the books. And they can't hide because the system has been created where I can see that it's been uploaded into the accounting software and that the books are in balance. I can verify that the financial piece of the puzzle and the business is running properly because I get a report monthly from my accountant and my bookkeeper that says, this is where we are. This is your cash flow. This is your profit. This is where you're spending a lot of money. Are you okay with that? Uh, and I pay them good money to do those things. I have
mm,
a maintenance coordinator who deals with maintenance. And on the property meld dashboard, which I log into every morning, I can see the tasks ticking off, or I can see things progressing, and I can see that we're handling our maintenance requests in 3 to 4 days on average. And that's fine. I've also told him to maintain his sanity because he's a bit of a control freak. If it's after hours and it's a garbage disposal and a dishwasher and it's after 5 o'clock, you don't need to deal with that today. If it's a leak and we have a catastrophe, then you deal with that after 5 o'clock. But the small stuff can wait until tomorrow. It's still important. It's important to get it done and move it off our plates, but you don't have to deal with it when you need to be spending time with your children at soccer camp or baseball practice or whatever he does in the evening with his 4 kids. And then my other teammates, I can see that they are moving their tasks forward and that I don't have to worry about the job that they're doing. And
mm.
that's empowered me to go out and find the right properties to bring into the practice for us to manage.
Mm.
One of the gifts that I see in you, which I think really sets you apart, Michael, is coming into the program. You're really intelligent. You know this. You're an intelligent guy. I think everybody can pick that up just by hearing you and listening to you. But even though you're intelligent, you have this you have humility about, and this openness to learning. And you've come into the program and you just started to do stuff. Like you tried it out, you experimented, and you allowed yourself the time to prove whether or not it would work or not. And some of the times we get clients that are intelligent, but they're not humble. And they're usually their biggest stumbling block to themselves. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm
Thank you.
curious what Sarah's experience has been of you as well, because she worked closely with you on like reviewing some of the systems, reviewing your team, assessing you, and some of this kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with what you just said about being open to learning and trying things just a bit differently. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, we do things differently. We're okay with that. But sometimes if it's not our idea, then we're like, I don't know if I want to do it because I didn't think of it. Right. So I think Michael he's open to thinking differently. He's open to trying things out and implementing a system. He'll do the research. He doesn't just, blindly jump and he's like, well, Jason said to do this, so I'm going to do it. But he'll do the research and he's very thorough. And I really appreciate that about Michael. He's like, he's all into the details and he's very, um, he knows exactly what's going on in his business. He's not like, hey, I'm just gonna kind of sit back and like let the team run everything, and then I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope and pray that everything is going well, right? Like we know that it's going well because you're not the one who's doing it, so you've been able to kind of like get out of the hot seat in a lot of different ways, and get yourself more into the things that you actually enjoy. Because I remember that conversation with you about the operations, and you said, well, I love to sell. I'm like, okay, then let's let you sell. Like, if you're doing things in the business and you're just holding on to them, going, well, I have to be the one to do this. Um, I think it's really common for us to think that, like, I own the business, so I have to do this piece, or I own this and it has to be me. It doesn't always have to be you. Do you have to know what's going on? Absolutely. Do you have to have the right people on your team? Absolutely. And do you have to set it up so that things can run smoothly? Absolutely. But do you have to be the one who's actually like doing the work? No.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest shifts that I've seen in you is that you're able to say, okay, I don't have to do this part and I don't want to do this part. This is where I want to be. So I'm going to move closer to this and I'm going to figure out how to get these pieces kind of offloaded.
Yeah. Yeah. When you taught me how to write RDocs, and after I had a disastrous hire 2 years ago, and I had to fire someone, something I'd never had to do, but it was my fault. There was nothing wrong with the person I hired. She was just the wrong fit for the job. And then we sat down, we wrote our docs with detailed job descriptions and parameters, and that made bringing on the next person who is now in that role a dream because she fit the culture. We knew what her profile was before she even interviewed with us. We knew who the person was. And then she walked through the door and poof, there she was. And that's one thing I didn't know. I just thought you could teach someone into a position. Well, you can teach skills, but you can't teach the human touch.
Mm.
And that's what I had missed with the disaster, the mistake that I made.
Yeah, you learned some concepts from us, like the 3 fits, mapping out RDocs. One of you explain what RDocs are for those listening. So this is DoorGrow speak here.
I know it is. So an RDoc, it's just basically a fancy word for job description. We call it RDoc because every section on it starts with R.
There you go. So the ultimate job descriptions. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, so all of these little pieces and systems and mindsets that you've installed in your business have really, I think, primed your business for a lot of growth. Like, where do you see the business going in the future?
Oh, well, so that's another thing I learned. And it was I think, at the Austin meeting. And you said it in the first like 2 minutes, and I got my nugget, and I was like, okay, I can go home. I got it. You said, don't limit your growth. And I had constantly said 200 doors, 200 doors. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. And
You're already past that now.
Yeah, you said that. And I was like, why would I create like this false ceiling that I'm going to just bump into and stop at?
Yeah.
So ultimately, and I'd like to retire in the next 10 to 12, 15 years, maybe. We're realistically thinking in the neighborhood of 1,000 to 2,000 doors. Um,
Yeah.
People have started to come a calling about, hey, do you want to sell your business?
Sure.
And the time is not right. Some of the financial offers that have been made already are very intriguing.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, what will I do with myself? What's the next iteration? And
Yeah.
I think until I figure that out, we're gonna just stay the course. So
Yeah. I think that's one of the key things that I think a lot of people realize in the program, that if it was just about money, then maybe you'd cash out, but it's not just about money, right? There's other things we want out of our experience here on this planet. And that's something else you got a lot of clarity on, is what really personally drives you, which allowed you to build the business and the team around you so that you really could move into those plus signs and out of those minus signs.
yeah. So the key is I went to the Netherlands in May to see art because it's my thing.
Cool.
And a little ostentatious to fly to Europe to see Vermeer, but I did it. And I was gone for a good long time, and things here chugged right along, and it was beautiful. And
Nice.
I knew then that we were doing things right, that I could leave and not be here for 10 days, and the business continued to operate. I continued to watch
Mm.
and check in, but they didn't need me.
And and how's that different from before you came to DoorGrow?
Oh my God. Like the first meeting in Austin that I came to, I came really close to not coming because I was like, I can't leave. I just can't leave. I can't leave them.
Yeah.
For
And
2 days.
I was wrong. I was wrong. And I went to Austin and I went to Vegas, and things were good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, it's been really cool to see your progress. We really appreciate seeing your growth. And yeah, there's no question in my mind. A lot of people hear you say, oh, maybe 1,000, 2,000 doors. And they probably think this guy is ridiculously off his rocker that he could just believe that. And the audacity to have that mindset. And I'm sure when you first came to DoorGrow, 1,000 doors was like probably some magic like pipe dream in the ethers that you would never even consider. I don't know, but
300 seemed unimaginable.
yeah.
Yeah.
But now it seems very doable, and you're aware of the DoorGrow code, and like we've got clients that are breaking 1,000 doors. We've got
Oh
clients
yeah.
doing it, and there's no question in my mind you could easily do this in the next 2 to 3 years if you really wanted to, easily.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I work my golden 100. That's another thing I learned at DoorGrow. To have people valuable people that I love and care about, that I have to touch every 30 days
mm,
because they love and care about me. And by it, so they send business, they ask questions, and we share information.
yeah,
And for
yeah.
that, I'm indebted to you.
Not at all.
Well, great.
Not
Well,
at all.
yeah, we it's been really awesome seeing your growth. So
Mhm.
cool. Anything else we should ask Michael? We've got him hanging out here with us.
What's next for you, Michael?
What's next?
Well, once we go over 300, then to double it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I see
Love it.
next for you is you've got some of the systems installed, and then I think what will be next is to level up your 3 key systems of people, process, and planning, and maybe starting to build out even a little bit more of that executive team. I think you've got a good team going now,
He's got a great team.
and
Very solid.
and I think then what would be next would be maybe starting to acquire. You'll be the one eating up some of these other companies, and I think maybe working with us on acquisitions, and I think that'll be the quick pace to grow, and that'll also bring you really great people too if you want. So
We're working on 2. They're on a slow simmer because the
mm,
companies that I'm looking at have some bookkeeping issues. We'll
They
just put
always
it at
do.
that.
it's an opportunity.
They
Yeah.
always do.
So
Yeah.
we may be able to fix the problem.
Definitely, you'll be able to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to see what you do in the future. I know, like, I've seen companies hit all these different stages. We know the challenges that you're going to hit at these different stages in growth, We're here to support you. And for those listening here on the DoorGrow show, if you are struggling, you're hitting some of these sticking points, these milestones, you're stuck in your mindset, whatever, be like Michael, be like Mike, not Mike, but yeah, old reference. Be like Michael and, talk to us and let us map things out with you and see if we could help you out. We'll be straight with you. So, well, Michael, appreciate you coming on the show. We appreciate having you as a client, and grateful for you. Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
All right.
You too.
Cool. So, if you're wanting to get into our free community of property management entrepreneurs on Facebook, go to doorgrowclub.com. We have some free gifts that we want to give to you. If you join the group, we will send you, you'll provide your email as you join the group. We'll give you an email drip of some free gifts, including a fee Bible and some vendors that you can use and some different tools just to help you help yourself and help the industry level up. And if you provide your info, we will also reach out to see if you'd like to have a conversation with us and see if we could help you grow your business, which the answer usually is yes, we can. So we would love to support you and help you out. And if you're wanting to test out your website, which you think might be amazing, go to doorgrow.com/quiz and test your website. A lot of times this is a great gateway to realizing that you have some blind spots in your business when you see that your website is leaking lots of money, which is something we can help you out with. There's a lot of other leaks you can't see, and this might crack your mind open, get you to be open-minded like Michael, and allow us to be able to help you and support you and make a lot more money, have a lot more freedom, and make a bigger difference out there in the marketplace. So anything else? All right. We appreciate you listening to our show. If you could do us a favor and leave us a good testimonial if you're hearing us on iTunes, or a like or comment, all of these things help us out and help us get the message out to enact our vision and our mission for this industry of helping it level up. And until next time, to our mutual growth, everybody. Bye, everyone.